It's been a hot minute since we had an Alta layout update, so let's dive right in. We last left off in February when I was working hard on finishing off many pieces of rolling stock in Alta paint for the June meeting of the Bay Area Prototype Modelers. I managed to keep up a momentum of essentially one completed diesel locomotive per month, starting in October 2023. I've tried to keep this pace up even after the meet. To achieve this, I multi-threaded about half a dozen projects, pushing each one forward a bit when I had enough parts for super detailing, that is. Meanwhile, here's an idea I've found useful, that you might too. I use baseball card boxes made by BCS, as seen here. They're the perfect size for a car or locomotive project in HO or N scale, and even scales in between. In the box, I keep both the rolling stock and the detail parts I plan to use. Each project lives in one of these boxes until it's finished. Once I'm done, any leftover parts go into my parts supply stored in Milwaukee boxes. Each project box has a post-it note describing its contents so I can quickly take it out of the storage grid, fly it to the workbench, and resume working. This system has been a remarkable time savings for each project. I don't have to hunt for anything. It's all in one place, every time. Sometimes I store multiple examples of the same type of rolling stock in the same box. That way I can complete these at the same time. Best of all, it reduces mess on the workbench, which we all know is a losing battle most days. This system helped me complete my pair of RS32s much faster than I otherwise would have. Because they lived in the same box, I could switch off between working on one while glue or paint dried on the other. A lot of the lead up to the show was disassembly and paint stripping. I usually do this by immersing the disassembled shell in a bath of 91% isopropyl alcohol and then letting it sit for a week. After it emerges through the superfund soup of alcohol and stripped paint, I wash it off. Next comes the super detail parts, including metal grab irons for durability. Every Alta locomotive has a somewhat standard set of detail parts that I apply. This helps maintain a family look between different engines. Although I had planned to tackle my Alta locomotive builds in a certain order, the order that I actually completed them in surprised me. Bear with me here, this is going to be a lot of back and forth. First off the line was a pair of RS32s. One is in the original Citrus scheme, and the other is the first Alco I completed in the Mexico 68 scheme. After that was an RSD5, an unexpected model from start to finish. It had an entire cat's worth of fur stuck in the drivetrain, so I began a full mechanical disassembly and cleaning before I did any repainting. While the paint dried on the RSD5, I disassembled the GP40, which is a wonderful gift from a longtime friend. Thank you, Jeremy. I carefully put it in one of the baseball card boxes and dunked the Susquehanna painted shell into the stripper. Sorry, New Jersey. As with all my upgraded locomotives, I swapped the tinny stock speakers with scale sound system speakers. This adds richness and clarity. After that, I had a spare decoder lying around. I did a full DCC and sound install in the RSD5. I also added a full LED light installation. While that was being test run, I painted up the GP40 and also swapped its trucks for AAR Type Bs. In Alta lore, these units were partially paid for by trading in an old Alco FA cab unit to EMD. As part of the cost savings, the old FA trucks were used under the new units. In reality, several roads did this, such as the Sioux Line and the Gulf Mobile in Ohio. I also began work on what accidentally became a temporarily ill-fated project. I wanted to model an EMD repowered RSC-3, similar to the units on the Rock Island, MKT, and Mopac. I used the long hood off of a GP18 and completely painted it up. However, the final gloss coat failed spectacularly, ruining the paint and the shell, so that got shelved. Hopefully I can get my hands on a replacement Proto 2000 GP18 shell. If you have one you can spare, let me know in the comments. Next was the first of many Alco PAs, this one done up in the Mexico 68 scheme. First, I mechanically sorted it out. I ripped out the original PC board and replaced it with Nixtrain's Decoder Buddy and a Locksound V5 decoder. It now sounds and runs beautifully. While the PA was waiting on a new windshield, I disassembled a pair of EMD end cap switchers, a Walther's Phase 5 NW2 and an old Proto 2000 SW9. They got fully disassembled and painted up alongside the RS1. The RS1 was, oddly, an ex-Susquehanna unit. It donated the trucks to the GP40 while I rebuilt this unit. For a few weeks it rode on Blomberg trucks, which looked very wrong. Eventually I ordered replacement trucks for it from Atlas. This unit got super detailed with a variety of parts and then headed off to the paint shop alongside the NW2. They're almost done as of the publishing of this video. While all of this was going on, I was working very hard alongside Jay to build out his 1975 Amtrak San Francisco Zephyr. We'll look more at this project in a future video. As a result of this work, by the time the Bay Area Prototype Modelers Meet in June happened, I'd completed the RS-32s, the RST-5, the GP-40, and the Alco C625 you saw in early videos. Each of these units will receive their own construction videos in time, so please stay tuned for that. The show went off beautifully. Each of the units attracted comments and compliments, which felt very rewarding. Jay's Amtrak project also got a lot of kind words. If you were there and you dropped by, thank you so much for your support. And if you didn't get a chance to go, and are here in Northern California, I really recommend attending. After the show, Jay and I stopped off at our favorite taco place, and then spent the afternoon running trains at the Golden State Model Railroad Club. The push for the modelers meet was exhausting, and afterwards I needed a break from rolling stock. Using some leftover blue insulation foam, I made a temporary backdrop along the far wall. This was done in anticipation of returning to work on the brewery in the Modernist Depot. This went up quickly, and it's made a huge difference in the photos on the other end of the layout. Alexander has been working on some beautiful platforms to the depot, making them from sheet styrene. These low platforms perfectly match the height of the passenger car vestibule steps. We also include a remarkably cool pair of bus bays on the far end of the platform. This is a detail I've never seen on other layouts, and something you should consider for yours. I'm purposely taking my time building the brewery. I want to make it truly outstanding. For its interior, I used scrap parts to make a stationary boiler, matching a prototype I found on the Library of Congress. The brewery has large windows, so I plan to install full interior lighting, as well as adding an LED flicker circuit to the boiler room so it will glow beautifully. As a final bon mot, I painted up a blind end caboose in Alta paint to pose with older equipment. These dangerous cabooses were rostered by many roads, but fell out of favor before the end of the 1920s. By 1968, the year I model, this was probably restricted to use as a maintenance-of-way office car. That's all the updates for now. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time. I have a lot more videos in the works, and there's a lot more exciting projects to look forward to this fall and winter. And if you like the Alta California Railway, become a paid member on my Patreon. Over there, I include lots of exclusive stuff. For example, this fall, I'm releasing the alternate history of how the fictional Alta came to be, explaining how its mostly real 19th century predecessors combined in 1927 to form the Alta California. I'm also posting a weekly behind-the-scenes Workbench Wednesday series, so you can see what I'm working on long before it's seen on video. If you're already a subscriber over there, thank you. Your support means a lot to me, and it means I can spend time editing more videos like this. That's all for now. See you in the next one!